Hi, I'm Morven. I love the craft behind winemaking and love hearing good stories about great wine. But wine still intimidates me, and here's the clanger: I work in the wine industry. If it intimidates someone who works amongst it, how on earth do the normal folk get on out there? People who just like to drink the stuff and don't want to engage in all the wine wank. Not Serious Wine Chats originated in Melbourne, the dream child of a good pal, Dominique, who owns her own restaurants and shares my frustrations. After much lamenting over Zoom chats and wine, we agreed that Aotearoa could do with some Not Serious Wine Chats too. The deal is no big words, no agendas, and no wine reviews. We're not here to judge the winemaker or the wine drinker. We just want to chat about wine and other delicious beverages that float our boat and make our day. Welcome to Not Serious Wine Chats. Hi, I'm Morven, and today on Not Serious Wine Chats, I'm joined by Pete and John from By the Bottle as we host Marlborough winemaker Jules Taylor. A few people out there might assume that Jules is a man. She's not, much like winemaker Kim Crawford isn't a woman. One thing Jules Taylor most definitely is an incredibly fierce maker of the wines. Unlike most other winemakers working in Marlborough, Jules was born and raised in Blenheim. Her mum and dad still live there, and it's where Jules and George have raised their kids. It's safe to say that the roots of Jules Taylor, both the person and the wine brand, are firmly, deeply, sincerely well established in our most well-known wine-growing region. Jules arrived to our podcast studio early and ready to go, despite this sort of thing not really being her jazz. She admitted to having a lot of lost sleep, worrying about what to say. It's ironic because she's a dream to chat to, and we had a lot of laughs as well as tasted some pretty great Marlborough wine, and it wasn't just Sauvignon Blanc, the aromatics of which, Jules mentioned, often evokes memories of her mum's glasshouse tomatoes. It's all fond memories and feels on this chat, so grab a glass of something wildly herbaceous and enjoy. This is the Not Serious Jules Taylor Chat. Welcome, Jules Taylor of Jules Taylor Wines. Welcome to the little podcast room in the middle of nowhere on K Road.
Yay, thank you. It's lovely to be here, bright and early.
Yes, thanks for coming early. Yeah. That did hurry things along somewhat. No, it's really great to see you, and especially as we're just sort of kicking this off, it's nice to know that we've got people like you that's got the sort of, talent and credentials sitting in that seat.
Bringing a lot.
Yeah, that's right. I guess the first thing is how's Auckland? How's getting out of Blenheim? Like, are you already jumping on planes to go international yet? Or
I've been a couple of times to Australia, but just really, really briefly. I haven't made my foray back into the US. Kind of hoping to leave that till next year. Yeah. But it's been really great getting out of Blenheim and back into the big city, being able to wander around and not see your mum. But also it's really nice to get back out and see the people that are really at the coalface, and those, people have been out there, championing our wine over this period that's been really tough for a whole lot of people.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's been fun to reconnect with them and just, have a laugh.
Yeah, totally.
Not sit at my desk.
Because you see your mum in Blenheim, because you're born and bred, aren't you?
Yeah, born and bred in Blenheim. And at the end of high school, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? All my friends are going to university, so that sounds like a good idea. So off I went to Christchurch. And I was dreadfully homesick, I had no idea about that. I wanted to be independent, wanted to get out of Blenheim, but the reality of that was...
What did your family do in Blenheim? What was the upbringing?
Oh, well, my dad had a trucking business. Yeah. But did all sorts of things, on the side along the way. And my mum trained as a school teacher, and when we were preschoolers, I've got one sister who's 2 years younger than me. Mum had a commercial glass house growing tomatoes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. I've got vivid memories of that smell of, tomato stalks. So when I see that in Sauvignon Blanc, it just transports me straight back to sitting on top of that grater, watching Mum put the tomatoes in cardboard boxes and brown paper bags to sell.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so she did that.
Get back into that.
I still grow my own tomatoes.
But start selling that shit, man. Like, good tomatoes. You
can't get them.
A bad tomato is like every tomato at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, good tomatoes.
That is out of season.
Yeah.
No, totally. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, brilliant.
So she did that, and then did a few other things as we grew up. Went back to teaching, but ended up working at the local newspaper for a long, long time. Yeah. So not into wine. We didn't drink wine. In fact, there was, a bit of good old Gordon's gin And Dad, typical Kiwi bloke, was a beer guy. And I mean, I grew up in Marlborough, and there wasn't a huge amount of wine. I'm 50, so
great vintage.
Yeah, great vintage. So in my youth, there was virtually no wine. I always say, the first Sauvignon Blanc wines were planted in Marlborough the year I was born. It was a little wee lie. It was a couple of years later.
I like that though. I would use that.
Totally.
And so I suppose as a teenager, one of the first things I did, and I hope my mum and dad don't hear this, is I stole a bottle of Daniel Lebrun Sparkling in my sixth form at school. Not from a shop, like from my mum and dad's. They had some
wine racks.
Which was really, it only had that, and I think Dad had done some work for Daniel, and they might have had a bit of a contra going on. I'm not sure. And I stole one of those and drank the whole lot myself, and I wasn't.
As you do.
Was a little bit silly. But that was my first experience
the foray
with wine.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. Not too dissimilar to most people, so I would imagine. It's stealing something from your old I mean, that's pretty much how we all get started, I think. In New Zealand, anyway, unfortunately.
Yes. And I think, we could do way better.
Yeah.
When I've tried to with our kids, wine, I think I don't know, it's probably not the first beverage that, it's not that easy to drink when you have a young palate. But when I worked in Italy, I definitely see them pouring a bit of red wine, but a little bit of water as well with their lunches. The kids have
well, that's right.
And it's at the table sort of anyway.
In an environment that's no one's hiding from anyone
and no one's getting rat faced.
No.
No.
So it's just part of life.
It is,
which is cool.
I remember Mo saying when he came back from France, maybe last time, he was talking about, there was sort of like a half a glass left in a bottle, and he said, New Zealand would just be, someone would be like, I'll just chop that. And it was literally put back in the cupboard or back in the fridge or whatever, because, that's a half a glass for dinner. Like, I mean, what are you doing?
Or to put in the bolognese sauce or in the ragu or whatever.
That's right. A whole different, be nice to see that change a bit, hey? Maybe it is. Potentially, maybe.
I do think younger people are more aware of alcohol. I don't know if they're any better than we were, but I think there's a greater awareness, and there are more young people who say, "Oh no, I don't."
I've met quite a few.
Yeah, which is interesting.
And at the same time, we see it in restaurants that families are letting younger people sort of drink with them.
Yeah, great.
Just have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Which is excellent. And so, in which case, it must have been quite weird seeing. I mean, were you aware of Marlborough sort of the wine industry creeping into Marlborough? Did it creep, or was it overnight?
It was definitely a creep.
Yeah.
The big boom didn't. A creep. Definitely a creep.
Yeah. Who was that specifically?
Can't say. I'd have to kill you.
Podcast.
Yeah, definitely a creep. So I think late in high school, I was definitely seeing a few vineyards pop up, and then when I went away to university, and obviously starting to drink a little bit more, I became aware, coming home for the school holidays and getting jobs, summer jobs in a vineyard. I mean, we've all done our time.
Yeah, that's right.
But it wasn't till, I would say, the 90s that it really started to be painfully obvious that, where's that orchard gone? Oh yeah, it's grapes now.
Yeah.
Or that block of land that used to be in either garlic or corn or wheat or, sort of lots of arable farming when I was growing up. That was now vineyard.
I'm sad about
it. It is a bit sad.
Yeah.
And that's why I love going to places like Gisborne. When you go around and say, oh my God, look at that massive avocado orchard, and there's a lot of citrus, and then there's maize, and then there's grapes, and there's monoculture.
Yeah.
Was there any sort of kickback from locals about the loss of all of that?
Yeah, I think there definitely has been.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough.
It's the way it goes, isn't it? It's sort of like, I mean, Central Otago, people are pulling vines out to plant cherries, right? It's sort of whatever what's the next buck? It seems to be working for those guys. I'll give it a crack myself. And, I suppose if you've grown corn for a long time and maybe you're not getting a price that you're happy with, or it's a crop that's got weird hours or hard to manage or whatever, I don't know anything about growing corn, but, it could get, you might want to do something that feels more romantic, although, we do know that's not quite the case.
Absolutely.
Or at least, where's the romance for you in wine, Jules?
Oh, God, that's a really tough question. I don't know. What I love the most about it is that every year is different and there's always new challenges. But romance, I wouldn't say there's a huge amount of that in it. But that end product and just that catching up with friends and, I don't know, having a glass of wine and a plate of yummy cheese and it's a nice product to be involved with. Let's put it this way, I'm pleased I'm doing this and not selling toothpaste or toilet paper or
100%.
Yeah, it's fun.
And do you do much in the vineyard? Like, are you pretty hands-on out in the grapes? Or
not so much anymore. I still do little bits, I mean, we've had it's been really tough over the last couple of years because of COVID with staff getting people to do things, but we whip our children if they're if they've got some time in the weekends to get out there bud rubbing or lifting or dropping wires and things like that.
Bud rubbing? Explain bud rubbing.
Oh my God, bud rubbing is the worst job.
It is.
So if you think of a vine that we train it up and along a wire, sometimes on that trunk, some little shoots will pop out, and you don't want them growing up, so you have to rub that bud off.
Right.
And so it's quite backbreaking, but we use a funny old broom, go along.
Oh, do you? So it requires a really good Spotify playlist and some good headphones.
Or just a good buddy that you can talk shit with walking up and down.
Nice.
Yeah.
And because when explain a little bit how you've gone to Canterbury University.
Yeah, I studied zoology. That was really going to get me a job. Zoology and a bit of plant and microbial science, which proved useful.
Yes.
And at the end of that, it was, what am I going to do? And by then, I quite liked wine. Thought if I went and learned how to make it, I could save myself some money. A friend had done the postgrad course at Lincoln. I talked to him and thought, maybe that sounds like me.
Nice.
So off I went, did that, met a whole bunch of random degenerates from around the country that had studied all sorts of different things. All you needed to get into the course was a degree.
Right.
So a lot of them didn't come from a science background, so that was a little bit tough for them. That's when I thought, oh my God, thank God I did some chemistry. As much as I found it difficult, that was useful. So I went and did that, and at the end, basically moved back to Marlborough because at the time, I loved Sauvignon Blanc. It just blew my mind that you could make a wine that had so much character, and I know it's a wine that polarises people and you either love it or hate it, but it was just cool. So I was like, I'm going to go home and save myself some money. I had no cash, had a student loan, I lived away from home purely because there was nothing in Blenheim, from a tertiary education point of view. So I had a big debt, went home to mum and dad. I'm sure they loved that. Stayed with them for a year, and then they moved home, and I'll never forget, I did the Marlborough Women's Triathlon, which is a thing that's been going for centuries in Blenheim, and I did that in the morning, and I got home in the afternoon, and my parents were moving home, and my dad had pulled all the drawers out and tipped all my clothes on the floor because he wanted to take the chest of drawers.
So when you say moving home,
they were moving house.
Got you.
And it was time for Jules to move out, so he just dumped all my shit and said, "Like, see you later."
Yeah. Classic.
What?
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I moved back, and I moved back there, and it was super hard getting that first job. I mean, like any young person, and when they're stepping out into the world, that was terrible. It was tough. I was thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And eventually, John Belsham, I think he felt sorry for me. He gave me a job.
And where was John at that time?
He was running a custom crush facility called Vintech. So one of the first in Marlborough that was doing making wine for lots of different brands.
Yeah, right.
So what year are we talking about then?
We're talking 1994.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was still, the industry was still quite small, and you knew everyone, and if you went to a tasting or whatever, you knew everyone. And I'll never forget being with Simon Waghorn in about 2001, and we went to a seminar on yeast or some kind of thing at Pernod. Well, back then I don't even think it was Pernod. Anyway,
would have been Montana.
Yeah. And we're standing there and he goes, "Oh my God, well, who's that? Who's that? Oh, who do they work for?" So that's crazy. All of a sudden, there were all these people that come to, the industry is
interesting.
When I moved back to Blenheim, I knew my parents and their friends. I did not know one young person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
That's a big deal.
A bit grim. It was really tough. But then, God, people started coming back, and it was, oh my God, it was awesome. It's a great place to live. But
Did you ever think about, was the OE thing ever in your mind, or were you sort of pretty settled in New Zealand?
I didn't want to work and live overseas permanently, but I did 8 vintages in Italy and 3 in Australia. So I have done
over your time.
Over my time. Yeah. So I did 18 months at Vintec, and then left and worked in northern Italy, and then came back via Australia, and then worked at Cloudy Bay for a couple of... I'd just been doing this. Round and round and round, and it wasn't until I had a baby. They kind of ruined a lot of that stuff. So when I had Louis in 2003, it was like, I think my days of doing the old overseas vintage are done and dusted. Having said that, I've thought about... I'm nearly... our younger boy is 17... I reckon I could
you could go on there. Are you with me?
I'm not sure.
Imagine.
Not sure how that would go.
I'm not sure who would not want that anymore.
I think it's probably both. So it's all good fun, and not necessarily making wines that... they're completely different varieties. I remember getting over there and I couldn't even pronounce the variety. I'd never heard of the varieties, some of them. And so it was just a really great experience around shoe shopping, food. Yeah. A little bit of kissing boys.
Yeah. Nice.
But also, learning... what are you laughing at?
Just imagining all these Italian boys.
Same here.
But learning a new language. And
so you speak Italian?
I wouldn't say I speak it
that
well.
Yeah.
But I can still... We took our boys back to Sicily 10 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago right now we were there. And I could still, It all just amazing. Oh my God. And you remember stupid words. Like, I'll still never forget that the Italian word for platypus is ornitoringo. So, where the hell is that?
Totally.
But some words everyday words, it's like, oh my God, what is that? But you remember. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
What an amazing trip and time. So you did that a few times.
I went to Italy 8 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
which is amazing. Yeah. Same place, or did you...
for the first 3 vintages, yes, and then the last 5 I was in Sicily, sort of on that northwestern coast, and that was just the best.
Yeah.
So beautiful and so different, and the people, they live for their family, workers, sort of slight inconvenience, but I'd go home at 12:30, have a big old feed, have a wee lie down, go back to work at 3, usually with a crease in my face, and they'd be saying, "Oh, Julia, you've been sleeping." It's like, no, I haven't. Totally. And it was really cool, and they were super friendly and just really, I don't know, they welcomed me into their homes. I never once had Sunday lunch by myself. I was always at someone's house, and their mum would, because that beautiful multi-generational living, which I think we could learn a shitload from, right?
Oh God, in every aspect we could learn from Italian life.
And that was just so great. So Mama had cooked a million different things. It was like, oh my God, I'd roll home.
That sounds really great.
Super fun.
It's funny when, not that I would describe Marlborough exactly like Italy, but it's the vineyard, because of that monoculture that we're talking. No, it's not quite the same, but
there are aspects that there is a Venn diagram in there.
There is a Venn diagram.
I love a good Venn diagram,
and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is the interconnection of that Venn diagram is Marlborough feels like one of the few regions in New Zealand that you really know you're in wine country. I remember driving through Blenheim at harvest time, and traffic wasn't going any more than 10 k's an hour
because you're following a harvester, or
about 10 of the bloody parts. So you're just like, oh yeah, people are busy. It's harvest, and this whole entire region is on the clock for those little berries on those little bunches on those little vines.
It's super important for our region.
And there is nowhere else in New Zealand that in the myriad of regions we've got, none of them kind of have that, real, you're in wine country. And
it's also just like remarkably beautiful as well, isn't it? Which sort of adds to that kind of, that's picturesque wine region thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for me, it's the people, those Venn diagrams. For me, it's people.
Have you bought? So your parents still in Blenheim?
I live on Rapara Road. My dad is the last man on Rapara Road to have grapes. He said, I'll be the last man, and a while ago I said, you are the last man next to this, and he said, no. So he leases out this paddock, and last year it was filled. I remember during vintage taking this photo of all these, it was just filled with pumpkins. They put the big, crates out there to pick them all up, and it was, it was actually quite refreshing to see. Something different. So Dad, stubborn old dad. If you weren't growing grapes and making wine, what would you be in farming? Would there be agriculture or? I think I'd be certainly making something. I mean, I would love to make cheese. To go with wine. That's right.
But
I don't know what else I'd do. I think I'm so far down this track, and I'm 50. I'm certainly not going to have a career change anytime soon. But I don't know what I almost, when I was a teenager, I almost went to Dunedin to do physio. And my life would have been so different.
Totally.
I don't know. I don't know what I'd do if I had my time again. It's been a pretty interesting, I don't hate that phrase, journey. But it's been fun. It's been tough, but it's a really great industry in terms, the people thing again, and it's very collegial, and there are no secrets. This is not rocket science. I mean, some of the big companies that do a whole lot of research and stuff, they keep that close to their chest, which is absolutely fine. I mean, God, whatever. But if I've got a wine that I'm sort of slightly on the, oh my God, is there something going on here there's some bugs in here having a party? I just say, hey, can you look at this wine? Phone a friend.
That's right.
So everyone's really helpful, and there's this healthy competitiveness out there, but it's not. It's just fun. Super fun.
It does strike me as an industry, certainly in my experience, probably you guys will be the same, where it does feel like it's a very a collective community. Like it's sort of
totally,
people are prepared to sort of, I mean, any wine show you go to, if someone has to shoot to the bathroom, it's like, it's all right, I'll pour your wines for you, don't panic, and there can't be too many other trade shows that you'd go to where, the stand next to you and help you
end up selling someone else's wine. I mean, it's great.
And that community is pretty rich. That's a pretty big part of it, isn't it?
And it's just so diverse, and there's something for everyone, which the other thing about wine that's cool is that none of us like exactly the same thing, really. We all have different tastes and things that we find joyful in different varieties for whatever reason, and so there's something for everyone. Do you know what I mean? You say, I don't like that. It's like, well, what? Let's explore what are you eating? What are you doing? Maybe you should try this one.
Totally.
Which does actually bring me to tasting some wine, please.
No, quite right. I was actually, you were literally on the same page.
You finished your coffee?
I haven't quite, but
Pete's had his coffee,
ready.
Now he's ready.
I love it.
Excellent. Okay, Jules, what am I pouring here?
Okay, so this is our current release Gruner Veltliner, which I think we've been making this for it's over 10 years now, and I just love this because it's a wine that, I don't know, people find surprising. Especially when I'm overseas, they don't expect the girl from Marlborough to turn up with Gruner, so it's always a talking point and a starter for 10, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little 101 on the
101 on Gruner? Okay.
Yeah.
White grape, obviously, native to Austria. I think it is the most widely planted white grape over there. There's stuff all of it in New Zealand, and it can be made in lots of different styles as well. Like most varieties, there's not just one standard procedure for making Gruner. Typically, a lot of the Austrians have that kind of white peppery kind of aroma and flavour. We mucked around for a long time in the beginning, kind of trying to find where our style was going to be. The first couple of vintages was dreadful. Right. I didn't know when to pick it. We'd never grown it before, so we didn't know what it was supposed to taste like prior to vintage, prior to harvesting. Yeah. So we're tasting, going, oh, well, what's going to happen now? Where does this flavour go next? And the first vintage was like, oh my God, it goes there. And then it ended up being 14-point-something%. It was like, okay, that's not how you make Gruner. So that year, there was like 900 litres that did not go into a Gruner Veltliner.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so over the years, we've kind of, I think, refined how we want to make it. So we hand pick it and hot cluster press it. The pressings go directly into old barrels. They're really old barrels for wild ferment, just to give you a little bit more texture, so that you're not just making this sort of fruit focused, straight down the line kind of wine.
Yep.
But really, it's pretty basic. We ferment the free run portion, which is the fruit, the juice that comes out first. In a stainless steel tank with a selected yeast, and then blend that with the other portion, and here we are.
Here we are.
And was Gruner something that you were keen to add something to your offering from a point of view of, not just a market point of view, but actually just enjoyment?
Yeah, totally. And also to learn something new, Every year you make the same varieties, blah, blah, blah. I mean, things like Sauvignon Blanc, if you've got good fruit. I mean, I can do that with my eyes closed. Yeah. Because I'm old. You know what I mean? So it's nice to learn, how fruit responds to different things and what it can give you. And in the beginning, it was a friend of ours who was a winemaker for another company. The company he worked for didn't want the fruit, and I'm going, oh my God. Yeah. Put my hand up saying, pick me, I'll take the fruit. And it's a tiny vineyard. It's like 0.8 of a hectare. Yeah. So it's tiny.
Yeah. How many bottles do you make off that then?
So around 400 odd cases, so not much.
No. Yeah.
But I'd love to say Gruner is going to be the next big thing, but it's not. Yeah. Because I think people look at it and go, oh, can't say that. Can I please have a glass of Pinot Gris?
Yeah,
which is a bum.
Omelette above the you confuses a few people too, doesn't it? Yeah.
But I think that once people try it, I mean, what's not to love? It's a wine that goes with, I mean, you guys know food better than me, but I think it goes with food that is difficult to match with wine.
Yeah, yeah.
I think in the States they were having a go at calling it Groovy.
Groovy.
Yeah, which is
that is cool. I haven't heard of
John,
John. I love that.
It's so lame.
You like a red. That's a red card,
John. It's a t-shirt.
It is a red card.
Okay, we know what we're getting John for Christmas.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I love the texture on this. It's beautiful.
It's quite cool. And I mean, it's nice and dry, but it's not too acidic, so you're not going...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I feel like you could use this really well across the table of people who had quite different tastes.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of I sort of call it the love child between Pinot Gris and Riesling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Pinot Gris for me can be a little bit boring.
Yeah.
So this to me, it's got a little more interest, a little bit more texture.
Yeah.
But also has that nice fruit as well. So. Yeah, but if people are saying, oh, I want a Sav and I want a Chardonnay, it's like, let's just get a bottle of Gruner. Yeah. But it is a hand sell, and it's the, in restaurants where, staff and wine waiters, or really know their stuff, sommeliers, they can say, hey, I think you should try the Corona.
Yeah.
And once people try it, it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And you're probably growing and making the volumes that mean that that's fine too, right?
Totally.
So it's like, okay, that's cool. We don't grow much, we don't make much.
No. But it's interesting, you see, people will email saying, when is the next Corona coming out?
Yeah, great.
Like, so there is a little following.
Cult following.
Yeah,
cool.
but it's pretty small.
Yeah.
But it's just fun.
Going back to your journey,
yes.
You've gone out on your own with your name on a label in a region where you could easily sort of stay in a really good job with a big producer and do really well out of that.
Yeah.
So talk us through.
So for me, that was just about having some flexibility in our lives. We had 2 small kids. I was working a big job. It was full on. It was great, company car, paycheck, nice paycheck every month.
Yeah, must be nice.
But it became sort of winemaking a little bit by spreadsheet. Sometimes they didn't really want to know how the wine tasted. It was more about that, what is it, that little number? ROIC, return on invested capital. Which was a swear word for me. It's like, actually, how does the wine look?
Yeah.
But anyway, that aside, I had been in my job at Marlborough Valley Cellars. So I started there in 2000 and got what I could it was my big break, I thought. And it was great. While I was there, they said, you only know how to make the wine, you don't know anything else about sourcing fruit and deciding when to pick it and getting a label design and then taking the wine to market to someone like you guys and saying, hey, can you buy this?
Yeah.
So they said, how about we fund you into doing your own thing? And I went, oh my God, that's
great.
That's so cool. And I never ever imagined it would feed me. I always imagined I'd have my real job. And so for ages it was a little thing just bubbling along. We had a very rudimentary Excel spreadsheet that when the end of the year we'd push the old sum button, and if the number was black we'd just divvy the profits.
Right.
Great. It's all cool. And then at the winery one of the businesses built their own winery, so they moved out, and it was like, okay, Jules, if you want to keep doing this thing, you got to stump up with the cash. You got to buy all the stock, because they'd fully funded this thing for 5 years.
Yeah,
so good.
So then it was like, okay. Well, the bank was just giving me the middle finger.
Yeah.
And so some friends who shall remain nameless wrote a check and said, here, take the money, run, and make this work.
Such good friends.
Yeah. And it took...
Sorry, what were their names?
That's right. And so we took it from there. I stayed working, and it wasn't until a week before the global financial crisis that I resigned and handed my keys in.
Oh shit!
Yeah, nothing like timing, right? I'll never forget that. I was on a running machine in treadmill in Sydney. It was my first ever overseas trip for Jules Taylor wines, and it was pouring, so I'm inside and I'm seeing on these big TV screens, the headlines, and I'm going, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Classic.
Anyway,
just keep running.
Yeah, keep running.
Did you increase the speed on that treadmill?
Oh no, it's like, shit, maybe I just need to stop. In those first few years, God, we didn't really feel like we were getting ahead for quite some time. By then my husband was working full time in the business. He was a winemaker by trade as well. And we had two super skinny kids then. And I just did other stuff as well. You did a bit of consulting and to keep food on the table. Yeah.
And then how long do you think it before you sort of
it was,
came up for
I
you?
think
Kind of.
Maybe 2013, 2014, around there.
Yeah. It's a graft, isn't it?
Yeah. And George had made a really, he'd changed our distribution in New Zealand late 2006, and that was kind of instrumental for us.
Right.
More people on the ground, just being able to get around a few more
cool
shops and restaurants and things like that.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's like what we were talking about before. You know, I often feel sorry for winemakers because it seems like the only agricultural pursuit where the farmer is expected to be this charismatic salesperson, this entertainer who stands in front of 300 people.
You just want to make the wine.
Yeah, and actually, and that's what you do well. In most other industries or jobs, you'd kind of be like, that's their skill set, let's just keep them doing that. Like, we just need to make sure they're comfortable making wine and just making wine because they're bloody good at it. So we'll let someone else take care of that. And in effect, that's what having a great distributor is, and having that sales team on the ground does. But you're still expected to be this sort of...
When I stupidly put my name on the bottle.
Yeah.
You know,
that's right.
It's kind of your fault.
I'm so creative, right? You know, it took me a year and a half to come up with my own name. And so I do love seeing that end of it, but it is hard, some of the stuff that you need, or you're expected to do. Yeah. You're made to do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a competitive, there's 700 or so wineries.
Yeah.
You know, so it's competitive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's also great for the consumer, you know, there's just, oh God, you know, when you go into a wine store and look at all that stuff, it's just, I'm a kid in a candy store, and, you know, there's so many cool things out there.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that they get overwhelmed? Because that's, I guess, one of the reasons that we're here, right, is not trying to do Not Serious Wine Chat, is actually... That must be bloody confronting if you actually don't know anything about wine. And the only thing you know is how much cash you've got in your wallet
to spend.
And where do you start then?
Kind of, and I think that's where, you know, if your choice, where you shop for your wine is important. If you can go somewhere and have someone direct you, and then you go back there and say, oh, well, I liked this one, but that one really wasn't to my taste. And if you go to someone that has a bit of knowledge and has tried a few more of those wines, then they can say, oh, okay, you liked that, maybe try this one, you know. And just by then having that, again, people as relationships, by having that, you know, you can... Yeah, but it is confusing. And especially within varieties, you know, if you buy one thinking it's going to be sweet and then it's dry, it's like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
totally. Taking a punt because you're spending your hard-earned cash on, you know, and it's not, you're
it's
not
not a cheap product.
Do you drink beer?
Might do.
Oh, yeah, nice. What's your go-to if you're not drinking wine?
gin. I quite like gin.
Yeah.
I love gin.
Yeah.
Slight
hesitation /
and tequila.
correction.
And rum.
Yeah.
But I think when you work in wine all day, the last thing that I go for if I'm having a drink is I'll have a wine. You know, I'd have a wine with my dinner. Yeah. But I'd choose something different. If I'm just having one drink, I'll have a gin and tonic or a
nice.
Just a Negroni or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Shall we, now, as per usual, I've forgotten to bring the spittoon in here, but why don't we...
we'll use one coffee cup as a spittoon.
Oh, yeah. Well done. That's excellent.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's the ideas, man.
That's a trick. Yeah, we'll move on to the Sauvignon Blanc. Far away, Jules. What have we got? So, I mean, for eons we've made, the classic style Sauvignon. You know, the machine picked, fermented in a stainless steel tank, really cold, with selected yeast. You know, that classic style Marlborough Sauvignon that everyone knows and either loves or hates. You know, that really vibrant, sometimes in your face, sometimes overpowering. But for me, I just love that stuff, you know. I think we should make candles that smell like that. Yeah.
Well, that's because you're taking to your mum grown tomatoes every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is our On the Quiet Sauvignon Blanc, which is made in a completely different style to that classic. So think sort of a little bit more subtle, not as acidic, certainly doesn't leap at you and slap you like the octopus effect like classic Savvy does, you know, hitting you with passion fruit and lime and jalapeno and tomato stalk, all that stuff.
What's octopus in Italian? Do you know that one?
Oh my God, I do know that. Yeah. Polpo.
There we go. There we go.
So this is all hand-picked and whole cluster pressed into really old barrels, so barrels that have been through our Chardonnay program and Pinot Gris, so no discernible oak character. but 100% in those barrels, wild fermented, quite high solids, so it gets really stinky and you're thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen here? And then it's been through Malo, so the acid profile is a whole lot lower. So you're not getting that, the acid's not as juicy as classic Sauvignon Blanc, but this is the kind of wine that, you know, people who say, we don't like Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc, but we like Chardonnay. This is the Sauvignon Blanc for Chardonnay lovers, I think. You know, it's a little bit more complex, a little bit more nutty. And oh my God, I tried this 2 days ago for the first time since we bottled it, which was back just before vintage. And it's like, oh my God, it's like the elderflowers, and you know, it's just that really floral end of the spectrum as opposed to fruity and herbaceous.
Yeah.
Just completely different. Way more textural.
It's really textural. It's such a lovely colour finish, isn't it? It's got such a lovely sort of weight to it.
Lemon meringue kind of. I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, you know, if you're a traditional Sauvignon Blanc lover, you're not necessarily going to find as much joy in that. But certainly for me, I think it's a much more food-friendly style of Sauvignon.
It harks to quintessential Sauvignon. You know,
it's still got that kind of, you know, it still speaks of its heritage, but it's just a little more subtle.
Yeah.
What vintage was it again?
I think that's 21.
Yeah.
So I think that's just about to be released here.
That's right. So you do give it a bit more time as well. Obviously with the oak treatment, I guess.
So I mean, that didn't come out of barrel until January. Whereas the classic style, you know, we blended that and had bottled the first bottling in June last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's made in that ready to drink, fresh and fruity, get it out there kind of style. Yeah. This is, you know, more of the accountant going, oh my God.
Yeah, no, that's right.
We've bought the fruit and paid for that. It's now in a bottle that was expensive. Can you get out and sell it?
Yeah.
But no.
So
it was tiny quantities, you know.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the bottle and the OTQ.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Hit us with the brand name.
OTQ, obviously on the quiet, you know, which is code for behind my husband's back. You know, this old dress. I've had this for years. Totally. But in the beginning, it started off showing, you know, the classic style Sauvignon to sommeliers, and while some of them obviously buy it because they know their customers are going to like it, they don't necessarily like it themselves. I don't know whether they see it as slightly not complex enough or something. But anyway, I wanted to show them that Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc.
Snobbery.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wankers. No, sorry, no. It's all right. Not really.
No, that's all right.
Anyway, I wanted to show them that, you know, we could do something with exactly the same variety, but making a completely different style that, so hence the old hand-pack whole glass suppressed wild ferment, Malo, Lee stirring, Malo we make Chardonnay. And the bottle, it's just beautiful. So that's a silk print on the bottle.
I was going to say that doesn't look cheap.
No.
The accountant again.
That's right. Yeah. Losing sleep.
But that again is an immediate cue, right, for the customer. Excuse that, you know, the cue to the customer to actually like, okay, well, this is something special.
It is,
Look it up, read about it. What do we got here? Why am I spending that extra, you know, a few bones on a bottle of wine?
Exactly. But I think it makes a lovely gift, you know, turning it somewhere with that. You know, I think it's really pretty. But I am a little biased and I'm a little bit close to it, probably.
Yeah.
So, this is like Sauvignon from Marlborough is our New Zealand's claim to fame, isn't it, internationally? I know you haven't been overseas much recently, but do you feel like there is still the enthusiasm for that style that there has always been?
That classic Marlborough, for sure. I mean, when I look at it, you know, and the numbers on the world wine varieties, we're still tiny. You know, we're still so tiny. And I, you know, prior to COVID, when I was in the US, you do meet some people that still really haven't seen a lot of it. You know, there's a gazillion people over there, and some of them haven't seen it. And with some of their food, especially in those sort of warmer climates, I mean, it's perfect. And so long may the world still
discover
and embrace it. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to the stage soon in Marlborough where there's not a lot of land that can be planted in more Sauvignon Blanc.
Growing faster than any other wine region in the country, isn't it? Still.
Yeah, but some of those vineyards I would suggest are in places that might not be... well, it's sort of growing it on the edge, you know. You drive up the Wado Valley on the way to St Arnaud and it's getting quite cold as you go up there, so the growing season is a little bit shorter, but you know, with that climate situation, you know, they may have the last laugh.
Yeah. Well, to that point, I mean, for Marlborough as a region, what do you see it looking like in 20 years?
You mean with a view to like the likes of climate change and things like that?
Well, just generally in terms of the industry, the wine industry in that region.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a little more diversification. You know, I think a lot of growers just plant Sauvignon Blanc because it's the easiest thing to grow. At the moment there's still demand, right? But I think we're selling more and more every year, you know, Chardonnay and Pinot Gris and things like that, which it's only got to be good, right? I don't think that having all our eggs in the Sauvignon Blanc basket is great. I mean, 70% of what we produce is that one, you know, classic Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc. You know, just need to mitigate risk a wee bit, maybe.
Oh, 100%. And I think, you know, talking to Bob Campbell recently, and he made a comment of, you know, that Sauvignon Blanc put New Zealand on the map, but Pinot Noir kind of elevated it.
Yeah, totally.
And it's kind of staggering to think that it's sort of, you know, Pinot's still like only 8% or something like that. And it's because Marlborough's actually growing some incredible Pinot. I mean, you make incredible Pinot yourself, right? Yeah. So it's sort of a bit like not just mitigate risk, but also just, I mean, it's beautiful wine. Yeah. So why not make even more beautiful wine out of this region that is on the you know, the pin is on the map, so bring people in and surprise them with get them there with the Sauvignon, but surprise them with this other incredible stuff.
And I think that is one of our challenges. You know, everyone knows us as the region in New Zealand and in the world. You know, if you're going to drink a Sauvignon, drink one from Marlborough. But the challenge is to let all these people know that we are doing these other things and we're doing them really well, I think. You know, and just to be a little, you know, push the boat out, do something different, try something different.
Also, don't you reckon half the challenge in that too is actually, you know, like Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough is delicious. Sauvignon Blanc in Central Otago, although there's hardly any there, but it's actually delicious. Exactly. And it's sort of like, you know, obviously Marlborough flies the flag for all the right reasons. It is that unique style that you know, is only really in Marlborough. Which is what people have absolutely fallen in love with overseas. But, you know, that kind of New Zealand wine journey, what a great...
So cool.
You know, why...
And champion the differences between them, you know. I think, you know, for me, and the classic one is the Pinot thing. You know, for years I think Marlborough was really focused on white wines, or, you know, sort of sparkling, and a hell of a lot of Sauvignon Blanc, and then we really came to the Pinot thing a whole lot later than Central and Marlborough, and they were already flying their flag and doing a really great job. And so just like Marlborough with Sauvignon, they are way more well known for the Pinot. So people wouldn't take Marlborough Pinot as seriously as those, but you know, if you brown paper bag wines from all over New Zealand regions, when it comes to Pinot, the Marlborough Pinots stand out, and they're just different. You know, if you want a much more earthy one, maybe don't buy a Marlborough one. You know, they seem to be, for me, a little bit more fruit driven, a little more juicy acid and that kind of thing. But you know, again, it's how do you like your steak cooked?
Totally.
Find what's your thing, but don't have the blinkers on. That's what annoys me. People go, I only drink Central Otago. It's like, feck off.
It's so boring.
But I think that's a safety thing for consumers, and then within the trade as well. Is sort of, you know that you're gonna
get something you like.
Look like you're ticking the box kind of thing.
And also I understand it, you know, when you go out to a bar or a restaurant and if you're driving and you can really only have one drink, you're going to order something that you know you're going to enjoy, because you want to leave there thinking, yeah, great, and not going, oh God, I wish I hadn't tried whatever it was.
And for some people that's their one night that they get to get out and let their hair down, and it's got to deliver, doesn't it?
Totally.
I mean, the irony is, I guess, is that Central Otago Pinot, I mean, okay, we're in Central Otago.
Well, that's the thing. They're all,
I mean,
all different.
Bendigo or Wanaka. That's two very different Pinots you're going to be tasting there. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Do you travel much around New Zealand tasting, or at least do you taste a lot of other New Zealand produced wines to sort of keep?
Not a heap.
Yeah.
But I like to think I've tried a few.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So especially when I'm away from home.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. So it's not something that you sort of cognitively make the effort to do, to kind of just see what other people are growing and what other... Would you dabble in other regions? Like, would you...
I think, all our rosé that we've been making since 2009 is from Gisborne.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Purely because, back when our distributor said, hey, you guys need to make a rosé, and it's like, oh my god. I mean, Marlborough Pinot costs so much money.
Yes.
And in my former life at Kim Crawford, I had relationships with growers in Gisborne, and they had excess Merlot, and it was like, oh, well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But for other things, I don't know, it seems too hard.
Well, Marlborough's your roots and your heart and everything, and your kids have grown up there too now, so, And
the control freak in me that, can't... if you can't be there seeing what's happening in the vineyard and blah, 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 you feel too far removed from it, so you don't feel a part of it, and it's a little bit fraudulent. You know what I mean? For me, because I can't, be
There's also
there.
Logistics to that, right? Like, I mean, how do you, where do you move your juice to? Where is the barrel room? How do you get to the barrel room? All that stuff to keep, it's much more complex than that, isn't it? Yeah. Fascinating. So what's next for you guys? Have you got anything exciting growing in vineyards that we should be knowing about? What's happening, Jules? Got any secrets there that we should be?
I'm at that kind of stage. You try new things. I mean, the OTQ was a big part of that. But that has been difficult because people know us for the classic white label, so that's been hard. The Gruner, that's always been a hand sell. That's never going to get much bigger. I would love to be making some Chenin Blanc, but just because I love drinking Chenin.
Yeah.
I really would like to make.
Is there much being grown? No.
So I think we'd have to plant some ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Yum, please do.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But I mean, again, even if it's only 500 cases, that's cool. It's just something different to have and to talk about and to drink.
Yeah.
If you can't sell it.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I'll never forget in 2001. In 2001, when I made a whopping 400 cases, that first vintage, and it was only Pinot Gris, 250 cases of Pinot Gris and 150 cases of the driest Riesling. I'll never forget Kim Crawford and Simon going, oh my God, Jules, it's so dry. And it really didn't taste good until like 2004. Anyway, at the time, I was like, if I don't sell any of this stuff, our family's going to have a bloody great Christmas.
Totally.
So
totally.
In all seriousness, I'd quite like to make some sparkling wine.
I was just going to ask that with the Chardonnay and the Pinot thing down. Yeah.
I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
And I like drinking it, and
And I think it's tried and true that actually our sparkling wines made, traditionally are really outstanding. Yeah. They deliver, man.
I love the number one and the naughtiness. I love.
Would you? What about? Do I mention natural wine to you? How does that go down?
I think I've done really well. It's amazing, but by jingos, I've had some rubbish.
Yeah.
And it would be a huge experiment for me.
Yeah.
And
you're already doing wild yeast ferments.
Yeah, but wild ferments and natural, that's still got sulphur as a preservative in it when we bottle it. But apart from that, is fairly natural.
Yeah.
I mean, wine is natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a bit of a scaredy cat. I think I'd lose too much sleep, and my hair is already quite grey.
It feels like sometimes too when you there's a comfort in knowing this is sort of I've done this work for a really long time, and I'm really comfortable with the processes that I think produce and deliver really beautiful wine.
Yeah.
And why would you change that?
Yeah.
If you're good
I know. Yeah. But then sometimes I think, oh, I'm so boring.
No.
Well, but are you enjoying it?
Well, I'm loving it, but
that's all that matters, right? Really, you know, people are definitely buying the wine. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Your family don't have to sit around and drink all the wine.
No.
That's right. And hopefully the kids aren't so skinny anymore.
Oh, one of them was still pretty trim. I think it's just because he's scrolling. So
and the jewellery, as a jeweller in a previous life, beautiful. The ring with the it's like a seal. It's like the old fashioned.
So it's just our little logo on a pinky ring.
So great.
I was going to get my husband's family crest, but then I thought, well, actually, this is
no, good on you.
The new crest.
Yeah,
and it is. It looks great.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
You could, you know, because you're famous for writing your handwriting notes and stuff too. I mean, you should just go the full extreme and wax seal those suckers.
It'd be quite cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Thank you.
Hey, Jules, thanks so much. It's been so bloody cool to have you in the room and to chat and taste these lovely wines. They're really delicious, and you do a lot for the New Zealand wine industry. So cheers for that. And
no problem.
Cheers
it's a pleasure to have been here.
Yeah, and you're glad that there's no other career that's even slightly and no other place in New Zealand that's even slightly, you know, pulling you away. I'm glad we're going to be drinking your beautiful Marlborough wines.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much for listening to Not Serious Wine Chats. We hope you enjoyed it. We'd just like to take a moment to thank our mates at Antipodes Water Company for their support.